issue the Commissioner General satisfy invoice. We have about 8 of them who are not complying.
Still on Citi Prime News, national service personnel to receive allowance soon. That's the assurance from the Secretariat as it works to pay the 3 months allowance arrears.
We acknowledge we owe them. The assurance I can give is that processes are very far advanced to pay all the national service personnel.
Much later, we'll tell you how teacher attrition in the Gomoa West District of the Central Region led to the drop in the performance of students in the 2022 BECE. You don't want to miss these on Citi Prime News. Do stay tuned for details. The bulletin is live in the Western Region on Premier 100.5 FM in Takrady, Beach 105.5 FM also in Takrady, Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani, Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi, Right 90.1 FM in Somanya, Holy 98.5 FM in Aplao, Dasoma 99.1 FM in Yendi Word, 88.3 FM in Zarungu, and Bugli Radio 88.6 FM in Wa. The Citi Prime News is also streaming live on Facebook on Citi 97.3 FM and on our YouTube channel, which is CityTube. Thanks for choosing us. Details now.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
The National Service Secretariat says processes are underway to pay 3 months allowance of personnel which has been in arrears. The National Service personnel currently receive 559 cedis as allowances. Some personnel over the last few weeks have taken to social media to complain about the lack of disbursement of their 3 months' pay. Speaking on the latest development, the Director of Corporate Affairs at the National Service Scheme, Armstrong Issa, said plans are far advanced to pay the outstanding arrears within the shortest possible time.
We acknowledge we owe them. And the assurance I can give is that processes are very far advanced to pay all the national service personnel. And within the shortest possible of time, payment will be done. Normally, the first payment normally takes a little bit of time. It's just because we want to do a proper verification of their history details, make sure that their history details are properly captured for payment. And then we also want to certify that only 7 personnel are paid. And so their details are being captured, data is being built, and we are almost at the tail end of all these preparations. And so we would just want to assure the National Service personnel that within the shortest possible time, payment is made.
You heard the Director of Corporate Affairs at the National Service Scheme, Armstrong Issa.
The Ghana Revenue Authority is worried over the situation where companies deliberately default on payment of their value-added tax. The authority says a chunk of taxpayers have failed to file their returns through the authority's certified invoicing system, thus crippling the revenue collection for the state. Speaking ahead of an exercise to arrest business owners who have defaulted in the payment of their VAT, the Commissioner of the Domestic Tax Revenue Division of the authority, Edward Apinting Jamra, says they will continually embark on such swoops to ensure that companies do the needful.
Out of about 40 taxpayers that we are currently supposed to issue the Commissioner General satisfy invoice, we have about 8 of them who are not complying fully with the certified invoicing system. Out of the 8, we have various shops. Some of the shops are complying, some of the shops are not complying. But let me say that the sampling, the testing is ongoing. The few that we have done and the fraction that we have seen is what we want to enforce. But as we move on, we will continue, but we are not going to tell you when we will be visiting. Our officers are out there checking. So as and when it comes to our notice, we'll take the necessary action.
That was the Commissioner of the Domestic Tax Revenue Division of the authority, Edward Apinting Jamra.
Let's speak to City News' Kennedy Chumesi, who is with the task force of the GRA as far as this exercise is concerned. Good afternoon to you, Kennedy. First, tell us, has this exercise begun?
Yeah, neither did. So the exercise began early at 9 o'clock a.m. and the Ghana Revenue Authority has currently arrested 4 business owners operating retail outlets in Accra. They have defaulted in payments of their value-added tax. So the managers of China Mall, Nether Shopping Mall, Palm Square, Second Cafe, all of fintechs have been arrested for defaulting in payments of their value-added tax. They are expected to file their statements at the police station. So the exercise forms part of the authorities' measures to ensure that businesses do not default in the payment of their VAT, so that the GRA can show up its revenue collection for the state.
Well, can you tell us about the businesses again? 4 businesses, you say?
Yep. So the China Mall, so the manager for China Mall, Nether Shopping Mall, Sam Square, Second Cafe, all are fintech. So for the Sam Square and the Palm Square and the Second Cafe, they are the Palace Mall at fintech, and then the China Mall and Nether Mall are 2 separate shopping malls at fintech. So these managers have been arrested for defaulting in payment of their value-added tax.
Are you able to share with us how much these businesses owe the GRA?
No, please. For now, information on that is not available. So we are currently on our way to other businesses to find out if they also defaulted in the payment of the VAT. And I think that right after the media will be briefed and subsequent information will follow.
But we know in the case of China Mall, this is not the first time the GRA is cracking the whip on them. This time around, do we know the details of this particular infraction they have caused? Because I remember that in the past, they agreed with the GRA to honor all its tax obligations. This time around, they've been cited again. What's the demeanor of managers of China Mall in particular?
For China Mall in particular, my information what we saw at their premises, they're having a sort of engagement with the GRA officials, not wanting to comply with the directive, but then they ended up giving up, and because there was a threat to close down their shops for not giving to the directive from the GRA officials. But they ended up giving in, and everything went on smoothly. They've been arrested, and then they are currently on their way to the police station to file their statement. They won't be happy. They are sad. As the GRA has been saying that we should always file your returns, especially tax, because that's the only way that they could generate revenue for the state. This is not the first time that China Mall has been found in this situation. As you correctly mentioned, they've been found in a similar situation some time back, and whereby their shops were closed. And this time around,
well, Kennedy, it seems you are losing you a bit. Can you position yourself so that we get a much clearer line?
Okay, hello. Can you hear me?
It's quite better now. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So, as I was saying, this is not the first time that China Mall has also been found in this similar situation. But for this time around, it's with the value-added tax, and there's a system that the GRA is ensuring that everyone files their taxes through. And these people, so there's a certified invoicing system that all these businesses must have so that they can file their taxes through. But these people are not doing so, and they are robbing the state of its revenue. This is a move by the GRA to come in and arrest these people for them to comply with the directive.
Well, we've heard from the Commissioner of the Domestic Tax Revenue Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. He is in the person of Edward Apentin Jamra, saying that they are going to ensure that companies do the needful. After the arrest of these 4 companies, what more has he been sharing with the media?
So basically, they are, when you commit such an offense, there are penalties that you have to pay. But first of all, you will be sent to the police station to file your statement as to what that you have been charged with. Then onward prosecution will continue from there.
All right, that's Kennedy Chumisi from the City Newsroom telling us about the exercise by the Ghana Revenue Authority over the defaulting in the payment of some VAT by 4 companies. We understand that the China Mall, the Palace Mall, and Second Cup coffee shops have been cited for various tax infractions. They have been arrested, and then due process is to be followed. We'll bring you more in our subsequent bulletin. This is still the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. Eno has more stories.
A group of 4 teacher unions has expressed concern over government's failure to schedule a meeting to discuss issues relating to the non-payment of contributions to the Ghana Education Service Occupational Pension Scheme. The Ghana National Association of Teachers, the National Association of Graduate Teachers, Coalition of Concerned Teachers, and the Tertiary Educational Workers Union say government has defaulted in the payment for about 10 months. The Deputy Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Bright Rakubrobe, in a Citi News interview, indicated that government would engage the unions this week. A date has, however, not been scheduled yet.
Away from that, and a rights-based campaign and advocacy organization, Equicare Ghana, has called on the government to address the issue of cocoa pricing. The Ghana Cocoa Board says its fact-finding mission following a report of child labor on cocoa farms in the Amenfi West municipality of the Western region shows that the Al Jazeera report was stage-managed. Al Jazeera, in its report, stated that the use of child labor has risen in cocoa farms in Ghana in the past decade, despite industry promises to reduce it. A campaigner for Eco Ghana, Obed Owusu Adai, tells Citi News the issue of child labor in cocoa farms is because farmers do not get value for money.
The number one issue is cocoa pricing, and people don't always want to talk about that. They want to talk about the symptoms of the problem, but not address the causes. The cause is the root cause of the farmers or cocoa farmers wanting to use children as labor on their farms because they don't have money to pay for labor. You go to some of these cocoa growing communities and they share the landscape with illegal mining. And these illegal miners pay 200 cedis per day for labor. The cocoa farmer can only pay 40 cedis, at maximum 50 cedis per day for labor. And so obviously there is this sense of the farmer wanting to use their children to support them in their farms. Again, when you go to these communities, they are deprived when it comes to social amenities, schools, the distance. And I always use myself as an example. We used to walk almost 3-4 miles to go to school. And so when you are in such a community and you don't feel entitled, or you don't get access to these schools, and you can't go to school, you need to walk, the alternative would be to skip school and probably go to the farm and support your parents. So these are the problems within the sector, and we need to try to address them.
That was campaigner for Equicare Ghana, Obed Owusu Adai.
The New Drumming North Municipal Assembly says the judicious disbursement of the common fund to persons with disability in the municipality has significantly reduced street begging in the capital. According to the Assembly, persons with disabilities who previously gathered at traffic intersections to beg for alms are now engaging in various profit ventures after receiving continuous support from the District Assembly's Common Fund. In an interview with Citi News after distributing industrial sewing machines, deep freezers, fufu pounding machines, popcorn machines, and seed capital for startups to the 6th batch of persons with disability in New Drumming North, the municipal chief executive, Comfort Asante, acknowledged the immense benefit of the intervention in changing the lives of the vulnerable in the municipality.
We don't see many PWD people alongside our streets. And I remember when the assembly came into being, once in a while we'll see some people coming in to beg for something. But even before we move out from that place, we have not been experiencing that kind of thing. Meaning, what we've been giving them, they are making a very good use of them. That's what pushes the assembly to make sure that those who are in the queue, they also receive their due. Yeah, it does. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had 48 within this batch to receive these items. It does. Like you heard me saying, they are not given out to them to be something. They just go and dump them somewhere. They need to go and make use of them. If it's fridge, make sure you use it for sale of water, frozen food items, even meat and whatever they decided to do.
You heard the New Jobbing North Municipal Chief Executive Comfort Asante. Meanwhile, the Eastern Regional Persons with Disability Association is calling for an end to the abuse and sexual exploitation of its members. The Social Welfare Department is equally worried by the alarming situation and believes extensive empowerment of PWDs is the way to go. Sally Mahama is the head of the New Jobbing North Social Welfare Department.
As social workers, first and foremost, see that we should first empower them, educate them, and let them know how to stand for themselves, first and foremost. And then when it comes to taking it up with maybe looking for redress in the courts or anywhere, we stand by them by testifying for them, because we do social inquiry reports to make sure that it is not a false allegation or something. We've had incidents of parents who have divorced, and because of the fact that the mother is disabled, the father, who might not be well equipped to take care of the child, will be fighting for custody of the child. In such a case, we have to come in and then stand by them and advocate so that they are, they get real judgment and everybody's.
Sally Mahama is the head of the New Jobbing North Social Welfare Department.
Now, some executives of the National Democratic Congress from the national headquarters as well as the Ashanti region have called on the government to give attention to the abandoned Community Day Senior High School facility located at Apija in the Ashanti region. The facility, built by the John Mahama-led administration, has been taken over by weeds. The executives toured the facility today with some party members within the Adansi area to clear the weeds and also tidy up the place. Portions of the building have begun deteriorating, with parts of the roofing falling off. National organizer of the NDC, Joseph Yamin, spoke to the media.
But we are here witnessing that after 2017, where the contractor was almost handing over the project, nothing has been done in terms of seeing to the completion of the project. And it's been abandoned. We's taking over the building. It's difficult for you identifying the building from the roadside. So what we decided to do, the Ashanti Regional Executives of the NDC, with the constituency executives within the Adansi area, decided that today we are coming here to clear the weeds around the building, so that whoever is passing around will see the good work started by John Mahama and how wicked Nanado and the MPP are by rejecting and leaving it to the mercy of the bush, the rain and the sun. Unfortunately, it's deteriorating. All the roof are coming down. The building is being taken over by rats and grass cutters. And so we are here to clear it, and we are happy that now you can stand by the roadside and see visibly the good works of John Dramani Mahama, and also see how wicked Nanado is.
That's national organizer of the NDC, Joseph Yamin. Now, the vice chairman of the NDC in the Ashanti region, Captain John Kwame Jabari, hints of a massive protest in the coming months if the facility is not completed and put to use.
We have the moral right that we want to build a cathedral to praise God. Whilst we say we have started free senior high school, and what can facilitate that free senior high school, we don't want to do it. I'm shocked. You are aware of hospitals and stuff that we have abandoned. We have abandoned this one, but we say we are doing V school blocks or victory school blocks. So why do a government stop somebody's project, which we use? It's not NDC government's money they use, though. It's Ghanaian government money that we use to start this project. We have abandoned it. We say we are doing V blocks now and left these ones in the bush, and we have started with V blocks. We have abandoned hospitals that we have started, almost completed, and we say we are doing 1-1 agenda, 1-1-1. It's a shame. And sometimes you, the media, have to send this message to the government that we are not happy, because our next plan is to mobilize this community to stage a serious demonstration in this community that they can't abandon Adansi, their property, something that we have wasted government's money on it, and then we have left it, and we are going to start other projects that we don't even know when we are going to complete. We will do a demonstration. I'm telling you, I'm promising you. We'll come back and come and stage a very big demonstration here. If they don't come and start something on it, we will stage a demonstration.
Captain John Kwame Jabari is the vice chairman of the NDC in the Ashanti region.
Police in the eastern region have begun investigations into the cause of death of a national service person with the Cocoa Research Institute of Ghana at Safo. According to eyewitnesses, the deceased, identified as Isaac Dochi, was riding his bicycle to church last Saturday when he was hit and killed by a speeding private vehicle at the Opaz Junction on the main Koforidua-Bonso stretch. The Achim Tafo police have arrested the driver after he reported himself.
This is still the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM, live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. Also live across the country on our affiliates all around the world. We are live on citynewsroom.com. My name is Larte. This afternoon, I'm here with Safo. Still to come, government indebted to GNPC to the tune of $279 million after failing to pay for services rendered to 2 ministries and 4 other state institutions since 2018. If you do stay with us, we bring you more from today's Public Account Committee hearings.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Ajwapa, what's all this condom business? Oh, I've told her over and over again that she won't get pregnant, and she's still insisting. Oh, isn't she the same person who said we would not have sex till we go out for at least 2 years? For all this time? Oh, and she still can't trust me enough? Ama, when I try to do something small, no, condom this, condom that. So handsome man like me, she probably thinks I have HIV.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner. Condoms are effective for protection against a wide spectrum of STIs and HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Let's now bring you one of our headline stories this afternoon, because the Public Account Committee of Parliament has bemoaned the government indebtedness to the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, which amount to $279 million. The Auditor General, in its 2020 report, cited the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Energy, Tema Oil Refinery, Ghana National Gas Company, and the Volta River Authority of defaulting in payment for services rendered by the GNPC since 2018. Speaking at the Public Account Committee sittings, a Deputy Chief Executive of the GNPC, Benjamin Akolache, says efforts made towards retrieving the funds have been unsuccessful. Here are excerpts of the proceedings.
We're actually overdue. The auditors are saying that your inability to collect this money will affect your operations. So they have recommended to management to intensify your efforts in collecting this money. Have you been able to recover this amount of money from the GOG and then the GOG-related agencies?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the Ministry of Energy has made representation to the Ministry of Finance, and it is being looked at as we speak.
What kind of representation that you made to the Ministry of Finance?
The usual writing of letters to them, and I believe that my minister has met with the Ministry of Finance on this issue. So it's very much...
you yourself, Ministry of Energy itself, is also owing GNPC. How can you write Ministry of Finance for what? Have you paid your portion to GNPC?
We are waiting on the Ministry of Finance.
Have you paid your portion to?
We are still outstanding.
Just say no, then you continue.
No, Mr. Chairman.
This money is being owed since 2018 because this 2018 account being reported in 2020. We are 2023 now. You still haven't paid. How do you expect GNPC to operate? GNPC, do you mean to say that this total amount is still outstanding? We want to know so that we know what to report on.
Honorable Chair, yes, it's still outstanding.
You heard excerpts of a hearing at the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament involving government indebtedness to the GNPC amounting to $279 million.
Amnesty International Ghana has called on the government to allocate resources to the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament to consider the abolishment of the death penalty in Ghana's laws. This comes after the Attorney General and Minister of Justice Godfred Yaboadame indicated Ghana's commitment to safeguarding the human rights and freedoms of all persons. Speaking to Citi News, Amnesty International Ghana Board Chair Francis Nyantechi also commended the Attorney General for his efforts at periodically reviewing Ghana's human rights protection performance.
It is good that Ghana has subjected itself to the Universal Periodic Review, and we must commend the government for that. I must say that we have issues that need to be resolved, especially on the issue of the death penalty. We have had verbal commitment. We've not seen that in action. And if truly we are committed to getting the death penalty abolished, then we call on the President of Ghana, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Parliament to get this job done for us. We know that it has been read, it has been referred to the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee. They have called for memoranda. At this stage, we are calling on the President to make resources available to the committee to consider it. We know it's a private member bill, and if the nation supports the action of the private member bill, then we must make resources available to get it done. More so, if you are truly committed to getting the death penalty out of our books, then we are calling on the government to ratify the second optional protocol to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights.
That was the Amnesty International Ghana Board Chair, Francis Nyantechi.
Now, the Federation of Kumasi Traders says its members are hopeful the Ministry of Local Government, Rural Development and Decentralization will resolve the current impasse between traders at the new Kejetia market and the Electricity Company of Ghana. This follows a meeting with officials of the ministry led by the Sector Minister Dan Kwekuboche last week. The meeting, among other things, was to find a lasting solution to demands for individual meters at the market. The new Kejetia market currently owes the ECG over 500 million cedis due to the usage of a single meter for the entire center, a situation the traders lament is untenable. Speaking to Citi News, the president of the Federation of Kumasi Traders, Nana Akwesi Prempe, says the trading community is optimistic the local government ministry will be able to address the current situation.
At the invitation of the Metropolitan Chief Executive, Honorable Sampan, to all the various traders unions within Kumasi City Market and the market queens, we presented our case before the local government minister, Honorable Buti. The many issues that we presented to him was separate meters the traders have been advocating for the last few years. After we presented our case before the minister, he gave us the assurance that upon his return to Accra, he was going to liaise with the Energy Sector Minister, Honorable Napo, and then the Managing Director of Electricity Company of Ghana to see how best, in the soonest possible of time, they can solve that problem for the traders in Kumasi City Market. Well, he told us we should give him a week or two. He will invite, after meeting with the Energy Minister and then the MD of Electricity, he will invite the traders leadership and all the various stakeholders into a meeting in Accra. So all that he said that we should give him within a week or two to invite us over to Accra to have a final discussion and conclusion on the way forward in securing the meters for us. We are very optimistic since it was one of the major issues that brought him to Kumasi, and he came along with his two deputies, and then he told us all the technical advisors of the local government. By his word, he said the president takes our matter seriously. That's why they are making that intervention. So we can only hope against hope that he will go by his word.
You heard President of the Federation of Kumasi Traders, Nana Akwesi Prempe, speaking there.
The Ghana Health Service is advocating for continuous stakeholder collaboration to reduce public fear of vaccines before vaccine mandates are considered as a last resort. The service held its 6th COVID-19 vaccination campaign, but failed to achieve its target due to low turnout. The program manager of the expanded program on immunization at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Kwame Amponsah-Chiano, said intense education and public sensitization ought to be done to burst the myth surrounding vaccines.
It is time for our collective efforts to debunk the myths and misconceptions, as earlier alluded to by the chairman, especially those that have journeyed smoothly through social media and other sources of media. And in doing this, we will alleviate the fears about vaccines, and in particular COVID-19 vaccines. The last time I checked, almost all new vaccines, and in particular COVID-19 vaccines, have gone through similar cycles of mistrust, hesitancy, and trust. And this has resulted in an initial needless loss of lives. Time, as you know, has always been of essence. In tackling the arduous task of surmounting this vaccine mistrust, hesitancy conundrum, let us all come together as civil society organizations, media houses, community leaders, health practitioners, and government entities to create personalized solutions that address issues of distinct groups.
Dr. Kwame Amponsah-Chiano is the programs manager of the expanded program on immunization at the Ghana Health Service.
Now, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana has increased the monetary policy rate by 100 basis points to 28%. The prime rate, which is of interest to businesses, signals the rate at which the central bank will lend to commercial banks. It also subsequently influences average lending rates on loans to individuals and businesses. Here is the governor of the central bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, highlighting the reasons for the increase in his address to the media.
The concerns being expressed in the public domain relating to high government expenditures have been addressed in the SLA and reflected in the 2023 budget. The SLA is also contingent on the domestic debt exchange program and external debt restructuring, which, when concluded and the necessary financial commitments obtained, would allow the presentation of the SLA to the IMF board. The MPC believes that these measures will help restore fiscal and debt sustainability and bring down inflation, as well as help stabilize the currency. In the interim, the MPC sees the need to remain vigilant and moderate liquidity in the system to underpin the macroeconomic adjustments taking place to drive inflation on a downward path. Under the circumstances, the committee decided to increase the policy rate by 100 basis points to 28%.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, announcing the increase in the monetary policy rate to 28%.
Now, surviving under the prevailing economic conditions have become challenging to some traders, especially headquarters popularly known as Kayaye. They have complained about their inability to save and send remittances to their families based in the northern part of the country. Citi News' Daniel Oduro-Mensah engaged some Kayaye in the central business district of Accra to assess how they are surviving under the current economic conditions. His report is read by Charles Owusukumi.
The first month of the new year is almost about ending, and for headquarters who are mostly referred to as Kayaye, the current economic downturn is having a negative effect on their lives. Some of them who migrated to the national capital a few months ago have started agonizing over their inability to make ends meet and send remittances to their families. These headquarters, who mostly hail from the northern part of the country, say they migrate to the south to improve their livelihoods and help their families. Zainab Al-Hassan, a 22-year-old head porter who has been in the business for about 2 months, says she is unable to save money to enable her further her education at the tertiary level. She reveals to Citi News her ambition to become a nurse and expresses fear about her inability to go to school this year.
Parents send money. I want to go to school, so when I want to buy my food, my like my oil, tomatoes, and that rice, my food.
How much do you need before you can stop the car and go back to school?
Maybe 30 or 25.
30 or 25. So that's 3,000 Ghana cedis. So is it on your heart to stop Kaya and go back to school?
Yeah.
Okay. So which school did you complete?
Tamale Presby.
Tamale Presby. So which school do you want to go again?
I want to go university.
University. To do, Legon. Yeah. To do what?
To do...
Which program do you want to read?
Nursing.
Nursing. Okay. Do you think you will be able to go to school this year?
I didn't think.
Some other head porters lament their inability to make enough money to further their ambitions.
We are unable to remit because our businesses are not doing well. The cost of transportation doesn't help in any way. Now, we use what we get to buy things for ourselves.
2.5 and 2.3 and 2.30 cedi. Na ebe tu na kwanti ube trafele unto me yes I say one kasa beko. Unya sika kita na odia to. One kasa tale but sisi sika ni ho.
Ebi sisi enya sika.
Our businesses are not doing well lately. You could trek for long hours without anyone buying from you. We do not even get enough to remit. I have been in the city for almost a year. Since I set out, no one has approached me for my service.
That report on how Kayayes are unable to send remittances to their families was filed by City News' Daniel Oduro-Mensah and read by Charles Osukumi.
You are still live here on 97.3 Citi FM and still listening to the Citi Prime News from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka in Accra. Still to come, we'll tell you how teacher attrition in Gomoa West District of the Central Region has led to the drop in the performance of students in the 2022 BECE.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
I'm indomitable. It's been weeks of preparation and anticipation, and it all comes down to this big moment. 104 ladies and gentlemen will be vying for a chance to be the #1 spelling bee champion in Ghana. Finally, the big day is upon us. Who, out of the 104 national finalists of the spelling bee, wins the title as the spelling bee 2023 champion and gets the bragging rights? Well, Citi TV will bring you the live broadcast of the finals of the Spelling Bee 2023. Catch the Spelling Bee National Finals live on Citi TV, that's DSTV 363 and GoTV 182 from the Christ the King International School at 2 p.m. on Saturday, 4th of February 2023. Follow us on Facebook at the Spelling Bee GH, on Instagram. The Spelling Bee is sponsored by Indomie and supported by the U.S. Embassy Accra, Kenya Airways, MultiChoice Ghana, Goyle, Ashesi University, Rufus Green Parks, Kellogg's, Otunfo Osei II, BNFT, Coconut Grove Hotels, Citi TV, and 97.3 Citi FM. The Spelling Bee GH. It's more than just spelling.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Grateful that you stay with us here on the Citi Prime News with me, Ni, Larte, and Safo. Let's go to the Central Region now and do education, because the Gomoa West Education Directorate is worried about the performance of BEC candidates in the district in the last 2 years. The Directorate says the performance dropped from 69.86% in 2021 to 61% in 2022, a situation it describes as worrying. Central Regional Correspondent Calvis Tete has more in the following report.
The Gomoa West District Education Directorate is worried about the increasing rate of attrition in the district, a situation it says has negatively impacted the overall basic education certificate examination of students for the past 2 years. The overall BEC performance of pupil took a downward turn from 69.86% in 2021 to 61% in 2022. The Directorate believes inadequate number of teachers in the district is largely to be blamed for the situation. Currently, there is a 450 teacher deficit in the district per the records of the Education Directorate. Other factors such as inadequate desk for pupils, unbefitting infrastructure, and unavailability of electricity in some cases is believed to be a demotivating factor for pupils. At Gomoa Ebutia, only 5 pupils have enrolled for the upper primary according to the Directorate, and these pupils are worried about the challenges.
We lack teachers, and if you go to our classroom, they are not good at all. And also, we don't have good chairs. And if you go to classes like class 4, one chair, 5 people, 4 people, 3 people are sitting on it. So the students will not feel comfortable in learning.
There are not enough teachers in the school to teach. One teacher is teaching about 3 to 4 subjects, and it is putting more stress on him. It is affecting our academic. The learning of ICT is very difficult for us because a topic like PowerPoint application, we need practice, and there are no electricity, and even the laptops, we are not having some. So we are finding that one very difficult.
We don't have laptops and computers, and also we need exercise books and textbooks because of the new curriculum. The dual desks, 3 of us will be sitting on one desk. So I want the government to bring us new ones, and so that everybody will be comfortable in the class.
The teacher attrition rate is high in the district. This is because the district lacks inadequate social amenities. District Director of Education, Madam Cecilia Abuaje, is disturbed and wants the Ghana Education Service to post adequate teaching staff to the district.
I've been here barely 5 or 6 months now. And when I came, the report that reached me was that teachers here are just living. And even my officers here don't understand why the teachers are living like that. So when I went into it, I saw that at the time I reached here, the teacher attrition rate was 325 at the time I reported here. And as we are speaking, because of releases and assurances, we are now more than 450 now, teachers that has left the district. And we have seen that that is affecting the district a lot, because previously, every year, their BEC results, they move a bit higher. But last year, which was 2021, the result dropped from 69.8 something to 61%, meaning there have been a drop of 8 point something percent, which is a very big drop. When the teachers come here, they are complaining of the roads leading to the various villages, accommodation problems, and even economic activities within the district. They are not attractive. So the teachers rush to Kasua, Winneba, and those places where after school they can do some businesses alongside with their teaching to get something in their pocket. And there too, they will get nice accommodation and other things.
Richard Jan Mensah is the Member of Parliament for Gomoa West. He is advising the Directorate to liaise with the National Service Scheme and other teaching training institutions in the Central Region to address the teacher deficit problem. He is, however, worried that some parents neglect their responsibilities and fail to provide basic educational needs for their wards. He spoke to Citi News after presenting some 50,000 exercise books to the Gomoa West District Directorate of Education for onward distribution to pupils.
Personally, I have made an effort to reach out to the National Service Secretariat to post even the newly trained teachers who are now yet to serve their national service to the constituency. I think the next step I am also looking at is also writing to the University of Education, Winneba, and then the teacher training colleges around, so that even the students who are doing the teaching practice can be posted to our communities here, at least just to hold the gap in the interim, whilst we look at the long-term solution of getting fully trained teachers who are going to be posted by the Ghana Education Service to this area. It is a major challenge. You go to some of the schools, from KG to GHS 3, we have just 3 teachers. It has even affected the enrollment in some of the schools. You go to a typical community like Gomoa, Abutiak. As I speak now, from upper primary class 4 to class 6, we have just 5 students. We have just 5 students because earlier they had a lot of students. Now, because of the teacher attrition, some of the parents have to take their children from there, send them to Kaswa, and then some neighboring communities.
Here in the Gomoa West District of the Central Region, education experts are worried about the teacher attrition rate in the area, and they are hoping that it will be addressed. Carv Stete, Citi News, Gomoa West.
9 months into the construction of the road linking Ashaliboche School Junction to Boteman along the Tema motorway, the contractors say work is 85% complete. The road is to aid the All-Africa Games slated for this year. Citi News' Caleb Kuda has more in the following report.
The smooth ride from School Junction towards the Accra-Tema motorway was not the case 12 months ago.
Before the construction would start, the road was so small and the road was so bad. Potholes, when the cars are moving, they bump into, and most of the people who drive are not happy with the road. And when it rains, how is it like? And when it rains, you know, the pothole becomes so big and the cars normally slow down when passing over here.
It was a one-way lane, but now they are making it double. And it used to be just, now it's making progress because it used to be just, the third road used to end just at the Zoomline head office, but now it's going all the way. It's not complete, but we are managing.
Whilst they are not doing the road, no, when it rains, very, very serious. You might not even be able to walk out because of the mud.
However, since Ghanaian construction company Oswald Investments Limited was awarded the dualization of this road project, residents and commuters say the road has become motorable.
See changes. You can see about 3 or 4 lanes, and the construction, the constructor's name is Oswald. I think he's doing a great job, and I think when the road is done, the road will be very nice. I can hear people over here saying the road will be nice when the road is finished, completed. So I think this road will be better.
Looking at it, it's double lane here, double lane there too. Yeah, it's a good project. And
has it improved your commute in any way?
Oh, it has. It has made our distance a little bit shorter. We used to pass the Santor Road, but it's very bad. It's worse than here. So here you connect easily to the motorway, and then you go under the tunnel, and then you climb up.
Because it's going to turn like a highway as well. It will be very, very nice. It will be very,
you know
nice.
Who is contracting the road?
No place, but the contractor is doing a good work. He's doing a good work.
What makes you say so?
Because he started this work not so long ago. The way he's doing the work is so marvelous. He's doing the thing for the next maybe 20 centuries. Because this road, I've never seen a road being done like this before. He digged the road put a lot of rocks inside before they are putting the sand on it, which is making it very solid. So it's very nice.
The contractors tell City News they have had to deploy 2 teams to work day and night to deliver on the project ahead of time.
We have been able to achieve this success by working day and night because we realize that the terrain is very rough, and to be able to, as it were, fast track the works, you need to be working day and night. So that has been the approach for this project.
The University Farms Road is a dualized project totaling 12 kilometers with service roads alongside the main carriageway. The contractors say the nature of the terrain has made this project one of its toughest, but they are confident this will be one of their best.
You should expect one of the first-class roads in the country. And as you can see, if you look at the profile of the works, from how we excavated, and then the boulders that we laid, and then the stone base that we laid, I think this is one of the best profiles of road in this country. And then having completed it, road users will enjoy one of the first-class roads within this enclave.
For commuters, they are excited about the construction as it has become an alternative road to the Santor stretch.
It will be a very busy road. It will provide an alternate route to Spintex and alternate route to the motorway. The motorway will be less congested than it used to be.
And this is a Ghanaian contractor working on this. How do you feel about it?
Really? Oh wow! I didn't know. I'm so happy a Ghanaian contractor is doing this. I'm so happy. I thought it was one of these foreign contractors working on the road, bro. It's good to hear it's a Ghanaian working on the project.
Well, when they finish, it will be busy and business gonna come back. So we are praying that them for finish the road so that business will come. Mostly the cars which bring the cement and the wood, over here, they can't pass here. So.
But for encroachment and delays in relocating high-tension cables, the contractors say they would have completed the projects 2 months ahead of schedule. Currently, they say they are 85% complete and are looking forward to 100%.
It stands now, we've done 85% of works, of the permanent works as it stands now.
What has kept you from completing?
Yes, we've had challenges with respect to ECG poles and Ghana water lines within the carriageway. So it has kind of hindered the progress a bit. But for that, we would have even finished this project by now.
What's the quality of work done? And by the time you are done, what should you expect?
Well, you should expect one of the first-class roads in the country. And as you can see, if you look at the profile of the works, from how we excavated, and then the boulders that we laid, and then the stone base that we laid, I think this is one of the best profiles of road in this country. And then having completed it, road users will enjoy one of the first-class roads within this enclave.
Judging from the processes that have gone into the execution of this project, the people who live around and commuters along this stretch say they are happy to know that the contractor is a Ghanaian. They are quite confident of the quality of work done, and they are looking forward to its completion. On the other hand, the contractors say this has been one of their toughest projects to execute as a result of the clayey nature of the soil, but they believe they are time-tested processes, and this is going to be one of their best projects yet. For Citi News, I am Caleb Kuda.
Now, let's go to Kumasi now, because 7 months after students of the Islamic Senior High School in Kumasi protested the absence of speed ramps in front of their school, which they blamed for accidents being recorded on campus, the speed ramps are yet to be constructed. Authorities of the school have been left disappointed over the failure of the relevant stakeholders to, as a matter of urgency, address the issue. The chairman of the school's board, Ishak Chebrobe, tells Citi News authorities have now assured them that the speed ramps would be constructed latest by the end of the first quarter of this year.
Ghana Education Service concluded that the Regional Director of Education takes steps to ensure that the traffic management systems in front of Islamic Senior High School gates is done. I went there because I also had a copy from the Director General of Ghana Education Service. So I went to the Regional Director of Education. Apparently, they had also received a copy. It was in their file. No action had been taken at the time I went there.
So when was that letter issued?
It was July last year, and I was not getting any feedback. And so I decided to go to the Regional Director of Education's office. In less than a week, I got a copy that is written to the urban roads through the regional minister. So what we decided to do is to arrange myself and the acting Regional Director of Education, to meet the regional minister. And finally we met at the Regional Coordinating Council, and the urban roads also represented as well. And at that point, we got to know that a contract has been awarded and that they will come to site and do the job. In the meantime...
So when exactly was the contract awarded?
That one, they can speak to it because I don't have a copy and the arrangement around the contracts. I was only giving the information at the Regional Coordinating Council. Okay.
That's the chairman of the board of the Islamic Senior High School in Kumasi, Ishak Che Brobe. Edward Opomafo is our bureau chief for the Middle Belt. He joins us on the line to assess the situation. Well, Eddie, between then and now, what has changed in the school? Because we know that the Inspector General of Police made some improvisations following the riots by the students.
And so, just after the incident, the Inspector General of Police provided speed ropes which were spread right in front of the school, and just some few meters from the area to some speed ropes were provided there. And so that was the situation for a very long time. And with the speed ropes, while vehicles keep passing there and all that, the speed ropes were tearing, so they were replaced. And now the latest development is that there are there are road markings that have been done now, and so pedestrians who want to cross will have to wait at the pedestrian crossing area, and once the vehicles slow down, they are able to just cross directly in front of the school. So that's the situation now. And so what significantly has changed has to do with the pedestrian crossing, and the speed ropes are still there. But the main issue, which has to do with the speed ramps which were recommended, those ones are yet to be done. And what we have gathered is that from that stretch, from Islamic SHS through to Kumasi Girls Senior High School, they have done some, that the technical people have done some assessments, and based on it, they will be constructing 6 of those speed ramps. And what we have also gathered is that it will be done latest by the end of first quarter. So all those ones, that's including the one in front of the Islamic SHS, and other 5 ones will be done within the period.
And so are you able to also tell us that these plans have reduced accidents on campus? Because the board chair has been speaking on that as well.
Well, the accidents, the school authorities are saying that following the incident, they have not recorded new cases, but the school insists that there used to be a number of cases that they were recording previously. And the latest one was the case where a teacher was involved in the accident, and as a result, the students got agitated and decided to do that. And before that time, some students, according to the school authorities, some students had been involved in accidents, and even cited a case where a second-year student was involved in an accident and was a serious one. They have been showing us the pictures of that incident. And so they're saying that it used to happen there, but for now, because of the temporal kind of interventions that have been put in place, it has reduced. But they want some kind of a more permanent solution, specifically with the speed ramp, so at least they can take their time and cross to the school.
All right, thank you. That's Edward Opoma for City News' Bureau Chief for the Middle Belt. And that's it for today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which came to you live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, in Accra. My name is Larte. I was here with
Safo.
Michael Obodu is next with the afternoon's edition of the Citi Business News. Have a good afternoon.
City 97.3. More variety.